Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling something literally all of us have experienced, but man, is it notoriously difficult to navigate. We're talking about anger in the workplace. Together, we're going to explore exactly how to shift from those reactive, heat-of-the-moment outbursts into actual, structured problem solving.
Okay, let's dive into this. Now, it's kind of dramatic to imagine actual physical brawls breaking out in the office, right? But let's be totally honest with ourselves. How often does a tense boardroom disagreement mentally feel exactly like this? Our source material anchors this perfectly with some ancient wisdom from Buddha, who said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Seriously, if we don't learn how to manage it, anger just destroys us first.
So, to keep from getting burned, we're going to follow a clear roadmap today. We'll start with understanding the anger cycle, then regaining your control, moving to problems over people, using the AAA approach, and finally, dealing with angry people. Think of this as a sort of masterclass built on an inside-out journey. Basically, we absolutely have to understand and control our own biological responses first before we can even think about successfully de-escalating anyone else.
All right, Module 1, Understanding the Anger Cycle. Anger is a completely natural, unavoidable instinct, and honestly, it usually just stems from our own frustrated expectations.
When those expectations are frustrated, it immediately triggers our biological fight or flight response. Our bodies literally flood with stress hormones. It's like we're reacting to a passive-aggressive email as if it were a saber-toothed tiger coming at us. Now, while we can't always choose if we get angry, that initial overwhelming spike is just biology, we can understand the cycle. The golden rule here? Defer your reactions. Wait until your body naturally reaches that return to normal, adaptive phase. I want to ask you directly right now, everyone has a hot button, so who is pushing yours? We all have personal histories, conditioning and unresolved issues that act as our triggers. And the material gives us a brilliant way to diagnose this. If your anger feels completely disproportionate to the actual situation at hand, yeah, your hot button is highly likely tied to a deeper underlying emotional issue, and not necessarily just the person standing in front of you. Moving on to Section 2, Regaining Your Control. This is where we shift our focus inward to proactively manage those internal triggers. Just remember what Will Rogers famously said, "People who fly into a rage always make a bad landing."
So the crucial point is, if we want to keep our wheels firmly on the runway, we need to actively build a toolkit of helpful, positive actions. Sure, anger might be deeply instinctual, but actually taking control of it, that is highly intentional.
Let's actually load up that mental toolkit right now, okay? First, calm down and think. Second, acknowledge that you're angry. Seriously, give yourself permission to feel it. Third, remember this one incident doesn't define your entire life. Fourth, you absolutely should speak up if it's important. Bottling it up just causes physical stress. Fifth, focus your mind entirely on damage control and solutions. And finally, take ownership of your feelings. Listen, we have zero control over what other people do, but we have complete 100% control over ourselves.
Okay, Section 3, Problems over People. Now we're moving outward to look at how we address external issues, grounded by William Arthur Ward's fantastic advice to direct our energy toward answers instead of excuses.
And this brilliantly illustrates the mindset shift we need. When dealing with others, we have to adopt a problem-oriented disposition. Just look at the difference here. Subjective language gets completely bogged down in personal matters and throwing around blame. But objective language, that focuses strictly on workable issues, using constructive I messages. By actively separating our personal feelings about a coworker from the actual objective problem we need to solve, we pave the way for real, constructive disagreement. It's a total game changer.
All right, Section 4, the AAA approach. Anger often spirals out of control because it gets fueled by feelings of victimization or helplessness. But here's the truth, you are never actually helpless.
You always have options. And these 3 steps form a clear sequential framework for processing literally any anger-provoking event. Step 1, alter the situation. Basically, if you can change it, change it. Step 2, avoid the situation. If you can't alter it, but you can remove yourself from it, do that. And step 3, accept the situation. If you can't alter it and you can't avoid it, you have to accept it. It is such a beautifully simple, logical flow for getting your personal agency back. It really comes down to this profound truth captured so perfectly by Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, in the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves, and the choices we make are ultimately our own responsibility. The AAA framework isn't just some neat little corporate acronym, right? It's actually a deep philosophy about taking real responsibility for the choices we make every day, even when we are under extreme pressure.
Let's move to and see how this builds right into Section 5, Dealing with Angry People. This is the ultimate culmination of our inside-out journey.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that we're finally going to apply all of that hard-won self-control we just talked about to actually de-escalate others. The energy curve you're looking at maps out the exact trajectory of an angry outburst. It starts with this steep takeoff spike where emotions are just running insanely high. That's followed by a slowdown as that initial massive burst of adrenaline starts to wear off. Next comes the cool down, which eventually leads right into rational behavior. So why does understanding this matter? Well, because if you try to negotiate or reason with someone during that red takeoff phase, you are absolutely going to fail. You literally have to recognize where they are on this curve, consciously back away, wait for their biological fight-or-flight response to pass, and only engage with solutions when they finally reach that rational behavior phase.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a quote from Joan Chittister that honestly completely flips the script on everything we usually think about this topic. She says, "Anger is not bad. Anger can be a very positive thing, the thing that moves us beyond the acceptance of evil." Wow. Anger, when it is properly managed, is just pure energy. It's the raw fuel that drives change, fixes broken systems, and helps us enforce healthy boundaries. It's not something we need to be terrified of, it is something to be harnessed. So as you leave this explainer today, I want to challenge you. The very next time your hot button gets pushed, are you going to let the hot coal burn you? Or will you use its fire to light the way to a real solution?